Does your audio sound dull, uninspiring, and frankly, boring? Let's fix this now.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
Here I am in Adobe Audition. This is my daily driver when I'm working with audio. And I've got 3 different samples to show you, all with different problems and all from different environments. I've got a voiceover, I've got a podcast, and I've also got a radio station recording that was done over Zoom, and it's lost a load of frequencies and it just sounds like, terrible. Basically. So let's start with the voiceover, which is probably the easiest because it was recorded on a good mic. It just needs to sound crispier and not so dull. So let's have a listen to this sample.
You're listening to Wealth Tech on Deck, a podcast about the future of wealth management technology.
Okay, so it's a good voiceover. It's a great quality microphone. How can we get that nice and crispy and sounding good and avoid that kind of dull, just kind of you're listening to, but that real bright popping out the speakers kind of sound? Super simple to do, and let me show you how. I'm going to zoom in on just this sample, and we're going to work on this. This is the waveform, and what I'm going to do over here is use my effects rack and throw in a few effects. I'm going to switch on preview mode so you can see a before and after. After is down below, before is above. And we'll first of all go ahead and add in a real quick win filter and EQ, parametric equalizer. Before you do anything, just go to the presets and work with the vocal enhancer. This, in 90% of cases, will do most of the job. Obviously, every voice is personal, but let's listen to what a difference that has made already.
You're listening to Wealth Tech on Deck.
Okay, and without it?
You're listening to Wealth Tech on Deck.
Just a little duller. So the vocal enhancer preset inside parametric equalizer with a good microphone and a great voiceover has already made it sound crispier.
You're listening to Wealth Tech on Deck.
So what's going on behind the scenes here? Well, we've got HP. This is a high-pass filter rolling off anything below 80 hertz. Perfectly fine. It will just eliminate any of those bass booms or mic bumps or anything like that. So it's really, really good. And also, the higher we push HP up, the crispier the voice gets.
You're listening to Wealth Tech on Deck.
So if you want that imaging sound, you can push that up to 183 or 200. But if you're working with a voice and you want to retain most of the quality, around 80 or 100 is about the place you want to be.
You're listening to Wealth Tech on Deck.
We've got a little bass boost here. We've increased 6 dB on the low end there, which is quite cool. And we moved out some of the boxy bass at 300. These are great starting points for crispy audio. And then over here at the high end, we've done a real big high end increase on all the frequencies from about 10K up to the end of the human hearing range of 20K. This is done great. If we want to make that pop even more, we can just move this dot over a bit and turn up more of the high-end sounds.
You're listening to Wealth Tech on Deck.
That's super crispy. Switch it off.
You're listening to Wealth Tech on Deck.
Again on.
You're listening to Wealth Tech on Deck.
We're crispy there, but let's actually get rid of that. We just want a subtle crisp, not a huge pack of Pringles, really.
You're listening to Wealth Tech on Deck.
That's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to cross that out. Notice it's over here in my effects rack, and we'll go on, we'll add a bit of compression, and we're pretty much done, I think. So dynamics under amplitude and compression. We'll go to default here, and we'll just switch on the compressor. We'll set a ratio of 3 here and leave everything as is. It crushes things down a bit, so we'll probably need to turn that gain up. Let's have a listen.
You're listening to Wealth Tech on Deck, a podcast about the future of wealth management technology.
That sounds pretty good. Switch it off.
You're listening to Wealth Tech on Deck.
That was the original. This is after.
You're listening to Wealth Tech on Deck, a podcast about the...
And if we want to stop that background echo as well, we can use a little bit of an expander and just set the threshold here.
You're listening to Wealth Tech on Deck, a podcast about the future of wealth management technology.
So what that expander is doing is it's fading down when there's no speech, so we get nice, clean, crispy audio, just how we want a voiceover to sound. And just a few steps, 1, 2, 3, EQ, compression, and a bit of expander. You've got a clean voiceover session that you can use for your productions. Look at how much better the waveform looks. It's all consistent in volume as opposed to loads of peaks here. If I was really working on imaging audio, the only couple of tweaks I'd make here is I'd go to parametric EQ and I'd probably push that high pass up to maybe 200, and I'd probably take the dynamics and push the ratio up to 5 so we get a real harsh sausage kind of voice. Push the makeup gain a bit more.
You're listening to Wealth Tech on Deck.
Well, that's proper Z100, the best hits kind of sound, but it depends what you're going for. At least you know now how these effects work and what they're going to do for you. Okay, let's move on. We've done the voiceover. Let's get to this.
Grandes ofertas e grandes descontos na Futura Eletro. Venha comemorar nosso aniversário.
Okay, again, a good voiceover. We'll look at spectral frequency here. This shows a heat map of frequencies. We can see the high end is lacking a little bit, so we can add some crispiness. Again, many of the effects we've just used, we can actually copy over. So I'm actually going to make it easy for myself. Save this that I set up already as crispy audio. Okay, that's the preset button there. Click OK, and now when I get over here, probably need to make some tweaks, but I can go into my presets here and load crispy audio.
Grandes ofertas e grandes descontos.
Okay, that's too harsh for this particular sound, so I'm going to zoom right in, and I'm just going to have a little play to get this sounding good. So first of all, we want to maybe take down that crispiness there, move down the high-pass filter.
Grandes ofertas e grandes descontos na...
And what we can hear here is the dynamics is too harsh. This is more of a narration. I'm going to take it to 2 ratio.
Grandes ofertas e grandes descontos na Futura. Grandes...
Turn down the makeup gain so it's not so loud.
Grandes ofertas e grandes descontos.
Let's listen to before. We've got this.
Grandes ofertas.
And then after.
Grandes ofertas e...
That's good, but what we've also done here is we've increased the problem. There's like a problem frequency with this audio. So to get it sounding crispy and good, I'm going to switch off dynamics for the moment. So let's actually go over here and check this out. And actually, I think I just got rid of all the effects here. Let's actually just undo this and go back to where we were. So we were looking at the default settings and crispy audio. And we're going to look at the entire file having crispy audio.
Grandes ofertas.
So let's go back, make those tweaks again. So we're going for a ratio of 2, makeup gain going down, parametric equalizer is going down again to maybe 98, crispiness going down. Let's move that low end down a little bit now. Disable that dynamics.
Grandes ofertas e grandes...
And now we're going to take 0.4, and what we're going to do is we're going to notch it up, but we're going to change the cue width and make that really small by going up to about 18.
Grandes
And now we can scan through and find that problem frequency.
Grandes ofertas e grandes descontos na Futura Eletro.
Can you hear as I'm scanning, I'm hearing different frequencies. Might make it just a little wider so we can hear them all.
Grandes ofertas e grandes descontos na Futura Eletro. Venha. Grandes ofertas e grandes descontos na Futura.
Right there, I'm hearing this is where the problem with the audio is. So now I can fade it out by moving that the other way.
Grandes ofertas e grandes descontos.
And maybe moving the bass down a bit.
Grandes ofertas e grandes descontos na Futura Eletro.
And I might actually go ahead and use 0.5 as well. Make the cue quite tight on that and scan through again.
Grandes ofertas e grandes descontos na Futura Eletro. Grandes ofertas e grandes descontos na...
Again here, harsh frequency, fade it out.
Grandes ofertas e grandes descontos na Futura Eletro.
And when we're happy with what we've done with the parametric equalizer, compression can go back on.
Grandes ofertas e grandes descontos na Futura Eletro.
And then switch it off.
Grandes ofertas e grandes descontos na Futura Eletro.
With it on.
Grandes ofertas e grandes...
Big and fat and bold. And if we still want to add a bit of crispiness, this is a final mastering tip that I usually do on my finished productions. So I wouldn't usually add it to the effects rack. I'd mix it down from my multi-track session and then go into effects menu and pull it that way. Up here, effects, and then we'd go for special and mastering. But just to show you what it can do, I'm going to go ahead and add it here in the effects rack. So again, mirrors the effects menu, special, mastering, and then I like to go for subtle clarity. It's a really good preset.
Grandes ofertas e...
There's probably too much and there's some reverb there.
Grandes ofertas e...
We can take that off unless we are going for that effect.
Grandes ofertas e...
But what really works, I'm going to switch that loudness maximizer off because it's pretty harsh compression,
Grandes ofertas e...
is it gives us an exciter, which if I whack that up a bit, you'll hear the effect it's having.
Grandes ofertas e grandes descontos.
It's really distorting the high end. Now, sometimes you don't want that, but if you're doing imaging again, the exciter can play an important role. So far we've worked the voiceover, we've worked with a kind of podcast read there. But what about if we got a kind of radio broadcast?
إذاعة طنجة المتوسط. إذاعة.
This has been recorded over Zoom. It's lost a load of frequencies. It doesn't sound good. It sounds dull, and it does not sound crispy. So let's make it sound crispy and exciting and not dull and boring. Switching on spectral frequency with Shift D. Look, this whole swathe of frequencies above sort of 8K completely gone. Now, I've always said we cannot restore frequencies that have gone, but we can do our best with parametric equalizer. Although saying that, stay watching to the end because I've got a little tip on how you can restore frequencies. So let's go to parametric equalizer here, and let's go to the vocal enhancer.
إذاعة طنجة المتوسط.
It hasn't really made much of a difference, has it? Because there's no frequencies up here in the high end to increase. We can try and flatten that out a bit.
إذاعة طنجة المتوسط.
And it has a little bit of an effect. Maybe move the high pass filter up a bit.
إذاعة طنجة المتوسط.
And maybe a bit more.
إذاعة طنجة المتوسط.
And it's just thinning out the bottom end of the voice, which isn't great. So here we've got a challenge.
إذاعة طنجة المتوسط.
That's the original. This is with a bit of EQ.
إذاعة طنجة المتوسط.
We're just working with what we've got. We're not adding in any of those high-end frequencies, which is unfortunate. Now, in most cases, I'd stop the video here and say, well, there's not much you can do. Just don't record over Zoom. Use something that's higher quality. But actually, I wanted to show you a little tip I have up my sleeve, and it is iZotope RX10, the very latest edition with so many different tools. Now, I do understand that this tool can stack up to be quite a few pennies, so maybe not everyone watching this video will have it in their budget to use this tool. But if you really want to restore stuff that wasn't there, iZotope RX10 is the best way to do it. Look at all these different things it has. I mean, they are world leaders in noise reduction specifically. And if I go ahead and drag in the radio station here, you can see it gives you a waveform and spectral view just like Audition does. And we can see clearly those frequencies are missing. So how do we get them back? We go ahead and we look for spectral recovery. This is the effect we want to use. Here it is. I'm going to just drag it here so you can see it. And it's actually showing you intelligently the frequencies that are missing. We can, of course, move that around, but I think most frequencies below 144 hertz are missing, and most frequencies sort of, it's got it exactly right, about above 7.7K or maybe 8K missing. And we don't even need to preview. We just click render, and it's going to take a few seconds because this is quite a heavy effect. If you're working with long audio, it might take you minutes to half an hour. So go make yourself a cup of coffee, chill out, relax, wait for it to do its magic, but very soon you're going to see how these frequencies are recovered and how it makes this dull audio sound crispy all over again, even though it's recorded over the internet and lost a lot of its quality that way. So here it is. Boom. And look at that. Look at what it's done. Boom. In the spectral view, we got all those high-end frequencies back, and now dull, boring audio suddenly sounds crispy again.
إذاعة طنجة المتوسط. إذاعة مغاربة العالم.
And let's remind ourselves it originally sounded like this.
إذاعة طنجة المتوسط. إذاعة مغاربة العالم.
So we've reintroduced the high frequencies using spectral recovery in iZotope RX10, a really cool hack tool if you really just can't get that that you need in your audio. You want the crispiness. Essentially, they should rename spectral recovery to crispy restoration or something like that. Maybe you can think of a better name, and let me know in the comments if you do. But that is how you take dull and boring audio and make it sound crispy and exciting. If you've not done so already, check out musicradiocreative.com. This is where my team of 200 plus audio professionals can help you with voiceovers, radio jingles, DJ drops, podcast intros, music, ads, and much, much more.
Thumbs up, subscribe for more. musicradiocreative.com